Just look at this chunk that broke out of the car. Getting rid of these wheels. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to a very rainy day here in Germany. Today we're back at the BMW 323i, which I purchased in a bulk deal together with a 316i. This was an insane deal, but you can probably tell why this was such an insane deal. Because we got a bunch of stuff to do, especially regarding rust and of course the obvious visual flaws. So I'd say with no further ado, let's get back inside and start wrenching. Now, as you can probably tell, this poor E36 is not in the greatest shape. But thankfully, we're here to hopefully fix that today. Why hopefully? Well, because I'm not a trained mechanic, and because this BMW has some serious issues which you're about to find out in a minute. So I'm starting off by writing everything down I need to do, and with a fully packed to-do list, we can get straight to work. Let's go. If you're new to the channel, let me share a quick fun fact about myself with you. I'm super lazy, and I love to procrastinate actually. So usually I save up the hardest work for last. Subscribe if you can relate to that. No, but seriously, check out my other videos and you'll see the pattern. Now today's video is not any different, so I'm starting off with the easiest bits first. And that will be replacing the old leaky hood struts for some brand new ones. This makes working on this whip so much easier, especially when installing headlights. Oh, speaking of headlights, let's put some fresh ones in. The old ones were not sealing anymore, so every time I went through a car wash, they would fill up with water, making them wetter than I usually like my headlights to be. But easy fix, just putting some new ones in alongside some clear blinkers. Now, let's finish this front off with some sweet chrome. Alright, and damn guys, would you look at that. Brand new headlights look nice and shiny again, paired with the clear turn signals. And of course the chrome BMW kidneys. Before they were black and I think they just didn't match with the car at all. That looks much more OEM, which is in general the look I'm trying to go for with this car. But anyways, let's take the BMW kidneys off the list and fix all of the trim. Oh my days. Seriously, this looks so clean now. And I mean, you saw it. It was basically no work at all. Like just basically a few minutes of putting the headlights in, the turn signals, and this little trim, and the BMW kidneys, of course. Yeah, that just makes a huge difference. I cannot wait to finally see this car finished. But there is still a lot of work, and also I will need to remove the trim later in the video once again, because as you can tell, there are still a few scuffs and scratches that I will need to do a little bit of paint correction on later in the video, also here. So I'll definitely need to remove this again later. But for now, I'm really just enjoying how this front came out. Now, once in a while, there are these moments when you think that what you're about to do is going to be super simple, but it then turns out to be a ginormous pain in the ass. This is one of those moments, because someone thought it would be a good idea to glue the trim in instead of clipping it in like a sane person would, proving that the person who did this was indeed insane. Now, there would have probably been a more elegant solution to getting rid of this trim, but I decided to go full caveman on it, which proved to work like a charm. Just have a look at that. Like on the front door, the side trim was basically just held in by this weird body glue. On the rear, they still had the original clips in. Seriously, that's just some major jerry-rigging here. But it doesn't matter, we're gonna take care of that now before I first need to get rid of all of this disgusting glue. You remember what I said in the beginning of this video about me being lazy? Yeah, I didn't remove the glue. That was literally just a lie. But nonetheless, the new trim fit like a glove, which tells me that maybe my way of doing things isn't that bad after all. I think you would agree that so far everything I've done to this vehicle was pretty straightforward, but buckle up because the turns are gonna table. In a minute at least, because to dodge my inevitable upcoming frustration, I prefer spending my time doing some more easy fixes before getting smacked in the face by the curveball this car is gonna throw at me in a second. Sticking once again to the easy fixes, I've also decided to de-BMW-fy this BMW by removing the BMW badges from this BMW. And if you couldn't tell already, this is indeed a BMW, but now you might not be able to tell anymore due to the lacking badges. But no need to worry, because we're gonna replace the old ones for some new ones later. But I gotta be honest, it actually kind of felt wrong removing the badges from this BMW. It's almost like taking away the beer from German culture. Without it, there's basically no identity left. But I digress. Back to the actual topic. I've also replaced the rear bumper trim to make everything look more coherent, since it was mismatching in color, and it also had parking sensors installed which weren't even hooked up to anything. Now, E36s are actually awesome, but they're also very susceptible to rust, especially on the underbody of the car and the rear fenders. And guess what, everybody? We got rust on the rear fenders. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty normal for these E36s to have at least a bit of rust on the rear fenders, but not that much rust on the rear fenders. Anyways, let's take care of that. Now, first things first, I'm gonna use a angle grinder just to chew through some material fast. Once I remove some material, I'm gonna switch over to a normal sanding disc, but for now, let's just get rid of all of this disgusting mess. Okay guys, I hope you can hear me at least a little bit. I'm gonna continue in a second, but just look at this. I now know why this thing was so rusty, and the main reason is because someone apparently has already done some rust repair on it, and it really yeah, well, they really didn't do that great of a job. You can just see all of the bondo. They probably didn't even use any rust converter or anything. It chewed an entire hole through the body of the car. I really hope I can fix this. I've never seen something like this before. Honestly, that's shocking, really. Just look at this chunk that broke out of the car. That's just completely rusted through. This bondo isn't even dry. It's still somewhat malleable. This is supposed to be as hard as a brick. You can literally just bend it back and forth. I don't know who repaired this rust. So apparently this car already had rust, and someone in the past decided to repair it, and they literally used like Play-Doh or something. Poor car. Now, I'm probably the last guy you should hit up if you need any help with rust repairs, since I literally don't know what I'm doing at all. But even my amateur eye could tell that the previous person who did this rust repair majorly sucked balls. So I just discovered something, and I really need to share this with you. This is actually insane. So as you can see on the outside, it's pretty rusty, but this is just the outer layer of the chassis. Because as you can see here, this is the outer layer, and this is basically the wheel arch. So this is actually the structural metal inlay. But if we take a look up here, you can see both of these layers are actually joined here. And the previous guy who did the rust repair on it, he basically just put some body filler in between this layer, leading to water just sitting there and creating huge rust issues. So as you can see, I already ground down most of the rust. I'm just gonna use my screwdriver and scrape everything out of there. And after that, I'm gonna hit it with some rust converter and pray that the rust will not come back. But as long as we get rid of all of the rust, put some rust converter on there, we should be good to go. And then I can seal everything back up and then remodel the entire rear fender, which is gonna be a lot of work. Speaking of a lot of work, it's also starting to rust on the bottom of the door, also on the rear door, and on the other side as well. Thankfully, the doors will not be that much work because it's just on the very bottom of the door, so I can basically just grind everything down, hit it with a little bit of body filler, remodel everything, just make sure that there's no more rust, and then we should be good to go. It's so much work. And now with all of the rust treated and some rust converter on there, it is time for this mesh. And this stuff is actually perfect for a rust repair like this because I can cut it to shape, bend it into shape as I want it, glue it in temporarily, and then fill it up with body filler. Now keep in mind that when you're doing stuff like this, especially rust repair, do not take my advice. Using this mesh and some body fillers, just what I looked up, and this should in theory be a good solution, but I'm not a trained mechanic, so do not take my word for it. Alright, and just like that we got our first piece of mesh that fits perfectly on the inside of this rear fender. This is basically just the inner part, the structural part that holds the outer part of the body in. Yep, that's literally what it does. And after filling up this gaping hole with a metric ton of body filler, I can proceed by adding another second metric ton of body filler, praying the rust will never come back. Now this right here might look like I do not know what I'm doing at all, and you would be right assuming that. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and keep treating this rust, filling everything up with body filler on the right fender, on all of the doors, and then I will get back to you in the next video where we actually get to painting. But don't click away yet, because at the beginning of this video I promised you something, and that will be getting rid of these wheels. And there you guys have it. I think we made a decent bit of progress today. Obviously, we're not all the way there yet. There's still a lot of stuff to do, but also I just want to point out that I really expected these wheels to look a little better on this car, but they're actually just a little bit too small for my taste. These are 17-inch. I should have really gone for 18-inch at least on this car, but actually I got them super cheap on Facebook Marketplace with a set of tires, so who am I to complain?